Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Channel Dad Bryon Lape Reads Brain Muffin at the Movies. And here we have another Star Wars theory or something. I'm not exactly sure what. I've lost count. I don't know how many articles like this I've come across, and I've just decided I don't want to do it. But this one got my attention for several reasons. So you have the main title, Star Wars Theory. Palpatine made Snoke by cloning his OG trilogy villain. So I was like, okay, OG trilogy. It's not the first time he's returned to the franchise. When the Rise of Skywalker revealed Palpatine was actually a clone, the movie indirectly confirmed Snoke was one as well. Yeah, he was in the crates. When Palpatine first appears on Exegol, the camera pans over tanks of lifeless Snoke clones. This bit of visual storytelling proves the puppet leader is a clone? Maybe. But a good question remains. A clone of what? A new theory argues the answer goes all the way back to the earliest days of Star Wars. Now, this is just too rich. Reddit user, and I'm not, I don't know. However you say that. Ardoronorus speculates Snoke is a clone of Grand Moff Tarkin. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Grand Moff Tarkin somehow. How? Okay, so he's on the original. Now we have two Death Star explosions, right? We have the original Death Star explosion. Tarkin's alive when it goes off. He's not running to his shuttle. Okay. So in that huge explosion, I guess maybe somewhere they've got some DNA of him stored in the Empire. I'm guessing that's what we're talking about. And then, of course, Palpatine somehow reconstitutes himself and all that other nonsense in for the Rise of Skywalker. The resemblance is difficult to deny. Peter Cushing's prominent cheekbones reflected in the silken face. I will say this. I will say there is a resemblance. Now, to me, this is just Jar Jar Abrams ripping off the original trilogy. Okay? Since it was a remake of the first movie, not really, and it had elements of Empire in it, but it pretty much was just a shot-by-shot remake of A New Hope. Well, why not? Why not base him? Yeah, if you had this old and he was somehow a dark force user, he could look like that. This really could be him. I mean, the nose is right. I mean, this is probably the best theory about who Snoke is I've ever heard. While Tarkin may have perished in the destruction of the Death Star, he appeared in multiple prequels over the years, camoing as younger versions of himself in The Revenge of the Sith and an arc of Star Wars The Clone Wars. He also served as antagonist for Star Wars Rogue One, which was a great comedy, by the way. This role is unusual because Peter Cushing died in 1994. This role. But what? Wait a minute. So he was in Revenge of the Sith? I guess I missed that part. They used someone who looked like him and was younger. Still oversaw the Empire fleet. And but what looked like a live action Grand Moff Tarkin still oversaw the Empire fleet. Huh? Lucasfilm actually created a 3D model of Cushing based on his performance in A New Hope, so it makes sense this already existing model could come in handy a year later for The Last Jedi. The first time we get an up-close and personal look at the Supreme Leader Snoke. Okay, but we don't... The evidence for this goes beyond pure aesthetics. The Force Awakens novelization revealed Snoke saw the rise and fall of the Galactic Empire. Not only did Tarkin stand by Palpatine's side during the creation of the Empire, he was also casualty in the Rebels' first major victory. Between Snoke and Tarkin, he's been around about as long as the canon of the Star Wars universe. When would this clone have been created in the Rise of Skywalker novelization? If anything is to go by, Palpatine had clones of himself ready to go by the time of his alleged death at the end of Return of the Jedi. This means he more or less perfected the cloning technology by that point. Now we do have clones in the prequels. I mean, and they're even mentioned. The War of the Clones. The Clone Wars rather. This means perfect. Okay, the more or less perfected by that point. Aside from the gruesome physical side effects, since you can't clone things after death, perhaps Palpatine saw how obedient Tarkin was and sought to create a replica of his own puppet use. For his own puppet use. After all, Grand Moff Tarkin was probably the only person in the Empire powerful enough to stand up to Darth Vader beside the Emperor, of course. And if this theory is true, he got a legacy worth of his status. Got a legacy worthy of his status. And it really helps if I can learn to read. And there's some other stuff about prequels, real shocking villain, worse than Palpatine, blah, 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 which I think we've already covered, or I went to cover, I don't know. But of all the theories of who Snoke is, this has got to be. I think this is one of the best ones. I think it's very interesting. JJ doesn't know. JJ is just created a mystery box. However, given that we basically have a reconstituted A New Hope, have him not die this time, except he obviously dies in The Last Jedi, because of Ryan Johnson is an even bigger hack than JJ. Maybe there is something to this, and maybe but again, with something that's just essentially a ripoff, I'm not surprised. And so it's probably a ripoff, but that's only how he was modeled, not who he really is. But we will never know because JJ can't write for crap. But anyway, so what do you think of this theory? Do you think it's worthy of inclusion? Do you think this is an interesting idea? I find it's sad that the fans of these movies come up with better ideas than the writers of these movies and the makers of these movies, which is just absolutely incredible to me. All right, let me know in the comments below. Thanks you so much, and goodbye. All right, let's see if we can get this done. Oh, it's too loud. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, are we running? Yes, we are. All right. Yeah, I know. Don't make that too tight. All right, 3, 2, 1.